As a result of this player's history of
DDoS activity, abusive behavior, and poor
sportsmanship, the player behavior team has
issued a lifetime ban on Jensen.
His account has been permabanned, and all future accounts will be permabanned
on site. Jensen has
consistently disregarded the letter and
spirit of the Summoner's Code.
His disrespect for the rules of the game is unacceptable
for any player, especially a high-profile esports competitor
who has a regular opportunity to lead the community by example.
Nikolai Jensen has become one of the West's strongest mid laners and players for one of the league's most iconic teams.
Bring them down, he can chase, he's on a quadrant, he's going for the penta kill, he's going to try to chase it down. Penta kill for Jensen!
But unlike some of his contemporaries, the journey he took to get there was anything but standard.
But unfortunately, we got disqualified as a team, and a few members of the team, including me, got banned due to toxic behavior.
The former World of Warcraft arena enthusiast used the alias Vigod in his early League of Legends days. Jensen became known for his solo queue play in Season 2, especially his 1v1 outplays, and helped found a roster called Team Solo Mebdi, which included players such as Nuke Duck, Yamato Cannon, and Raytek. The team was set to compete in the qualifiers for the Season 3 European Championship Series. It was the first split of the LCS in Europe, and qualification was a big deal.
To earn a spot in the qualifying rounds, the teams have had to battle their way through the online qualifiers or place highly in those major tournaments throughout the preseason.
Though competition had existed for European teams before Season 3, it was never like this. This was a major opportunity. Unfortunately for Jensen, it wasn't an opportunity he would get. A competitive ruling from Riot Games banned him from competitive play indefinitely, and Team Solo Mebdi was disqualified from the competition. The Riot Games ruling said that Jensen had consistently disregarded the letter and spirit of the Summoner's Code. His disrespect for the rules of the game is unacceptable for any player, especially a high-profile esports competitor who has a regular opportunity to lead the community by example. Riot said that Jensen had publicly and unapologetically admitted to engaging in a series of DDoS attacks against high elo players. Jensen admitted to having threatened DDoS in an interview with Into LOL shortly afterward, but said he never actually did it.
After that, I felt really down. I definitely learned a lot about myself as a person.
Not only was his Vigod account banned, but all future accounts belonging to Jensen would be banned on site as well. It was a lifetime ban in all senses of the term. This was a big departure from previous Riot bans, where players like I Will Dominate had been allowed a new start under a different alias, which Jensen was denied. Jensen's future as a competitive player seemed done. Left without any real options, Jensen found another way to leave his mark on the competitive scene. Though the exact date is unclear, Jensen became the coach of SK Gaming, a fact that was discovered by fans of the competitive scene, though it was not formally announced at the time. The initial ruling against Jensen had stated that he was ineligible to compete in the LCS, and in any Riot-affiliated League of Legends tournaments indefinitely. This suspension shall commence immediately. Whether coaching qualified as competition was unclear. In Korea, however, where Worlds was to be held that year, coaching was already recognized. And according to Riot, that meant that Jensen was banned from being officially recognized as a coach, despite the fact that he had already been part of SK's staff, if informally, up to that point. Their explanation, he had been granted access to the EULCS studio during Season 4 as a team guest. Also, team guests would not be allowed for Worlds. But according to an AMA he did in October 2014, he had previously reached an agreement with Riot that allowed him to play the game without the ban on site provision. While he wasn't allowed to compete, his new accounts would no longer be targeted as long as he maintained his behavior. Riot Games' ban policy underwent a big change in late November 2014. Instead of permanently banning players from competitive play and issuing ban on site orders, Riot instead changed those bans to indefinite bans, meaning that they would be reviewable at a later date if players' conduct on their new accounts was acceptable. Jensen was finally allowed to stream, and his ban came up for review under the new policy. But according to Riot, he did not yet meet the criteria to be unbanned. Still, Riot said his case would be reviewable 5 weeks before the beginning of the LCS summer split.
Very quiet.
No! That's depressing.
The team he would eventually join, Cloud9, had a roller coaster spring split in 2015. Hai, the team's mid laner, had long acted as the primary shot caller. C9 managed a second place finish in the spring playoffs.
The consecutive wins for Team Solo Mid, the Nexus falls, and Team Solo Mid are the 2015 North American League of Legends Championship Series Spring Split champions.
But Hai then stepped down from the active roster, citing a wrist injury. The roster that had played together since April 2013 had made its first major move, and Jensen was set to become the first of a second generation of Cloud9 players.
After I got unbanned, I was lucky enough to get picked up by Cloud9. I want the best for C9, and I'll do everything I can to help support them get to where we're supposed to be.
Boy puts up the box. That's going to stop the rest of the team from clearing through. It's the flash body slam on a turtle. Balls picks up the kill. Anchor Toss just missing Lustboy, but there should be enough to take him down. And that's Incarnation with the living artillery. Picking himself up one. 5-3 now. Dyrus coming in from the backside there. Did not see that, but Cloud9 forced to use the Sivir ult to put themselves back in the fight. There's two for Incarnation. Looking for a third one. Actually puts more damage on the turtle, so he cannot stay in the fight. Bjergsen with a sliver of health gets out of this one. Yes, behind Incarnation. Held his breath in that mid lane, making sure he could make it to the mid, make it to the late with his team. Dyrus doing his damnedest here to shut down Cloud9, who already had the head-to-head against Team Solo Mid, and look to stretch it just a little bit more. 45 minutes on the clock. TSM trying one last time to go for broke on the stoppage, and Cloud9 pick up the first win of the summer split.
Although statistically, Jensen had an above-average season, it became clear that Hai had been more than just the team's mid laner. He was a key part of their shot calling and strategy. The team sometimes seemed lost without him. Relegation became a real possibility, and the team needed Hai back. But it wasn't Jensen who would step aside. It was the jungler, Meteos.
So I don't know if Meteos is like out, but I think we're trying this.
The change didn't instantly turn Cloud9 around, but putting Hai in at the jungler position gave the team enough momentum to avoid the promotion tournament.
Meteos is still a great jungler. They have a bit of a different style where Hai is much more supportive, I would say. But the major thing was like the shot calling, but also Hai used to be a mid laner, so he understands what I need and he can like help me much more, and it's easier for him to understand when you have to help me and so on.
After winning a tiebreaker against Team 8, they placed 7th in the regular season, not playoff bound, but not facing down relegation. However, C9 had earned enough championship points to make it to the North American Regional Gauntlet, and there, the team would finally find their stride.
Here they go! Nexus turret number 1. Where's the defense? It's not there! Impulse have to give up the base, they give up the game, they give up the series. Cloud9 get the reverse sweep, and they're gonna face Team Liquid.
This might be the push to send Cloud9 to the World Championship.
15 seconds, here comes Sion! Into the backline he goes, doesn't find a champion, but the turrets are in front already. Dominate takes a bind, Dominate takes a javelin. Turret 1 is gone, turret 2 under fire, Piglet's up in 4. There's the knockup, but there's the cash-in. Sneaky takes him out, Quas is dead. Onto the Nexus they go, a double for Sneaky. Piglet's back up, but Piglet's slowed down. Shockwave buys some time, Phoenix is one hit away, but cannot kill him off. Incarnation zones him out. That's gonna be the Nexus. That's gonna be the game. That's gonna be a trip to the World Championship for Cloud9.
Jensen was a key part of the team's efforts as they reverse swept both Gravity Gaming and Team Impulse before winning 3-1 against Team Liquid.
I mean, I'm super happy right now. Like, I don't even realize it myself, I think, but I don't know, I'm just so happy right now.
Against all odds, Cloud9 had made it to Worlds. Jensen's first season with the team, despite rocky team dynamics, showed flashes of brilliance.
And I'm actually pretty surprised at how Jensen took the games. He was 0-2 and he's like, all right, dudes, we're going in now. We're going to win. I was like, all right, I can appreciate that. So everyone had a very good mentality for the 0-2.
Think about that for a moment. In Jensen's past, he had grappled with controlling his emotions. By his own admission, he had been a toxic player.
But I think I have a lot to improve on still, so I think the main goal is to be good for Worlds, so we'll see.
But during his rookie split, 1 game away from elimination, he chose a different path.
We might start out a bit slow, but I think by the end of the season, we will be one of the best, if not the best team in NA.
He chose to cheer on his teammates, and it had worked. Jensen had become the first permanently banned player to be redeemed.
I think in the beginning of the season, Jensen was a little nervous to play. Had a lot of big shoes to fill, basically. And I don't know if his team was there to help him out that much.
At Worlds, Cloud9 got off to a hot start in Group B with 3 straight wins. The next week, they followed that up with 3 losses and then were eliminated in the tiebreaker by AHQ Esports Club.
There is only victory for AHQ. One final dunk on the other side of the map. It's like he's playing Space Jam, and AHQ will be the final team out of Group B.
The Gauntlet and Worlds may have been a Cinderella run for the team, but Spring 2016 broke up much of the original Cloud9 roster. High and Balls were moved to Cloud9 Challenger. Meteos returned as jungler, and Impact was added to the roster as the new top laner. 2016 saw Jensen settle into his role as C9's starting mid laner and change his alias from Incarnation. He earned all pro team honors in the spring split, and the team 5th to 6th in spring playoffs and 2nd in summer, earning another trip to the Gauntlet and yet another trip to Worlds. He also set a new record for kills in a single game.
He was a great mid laner last split, and he was up there for people's all-pro. They're just feeding him kills.
19-20 could be on the board. That's number 20 for Jensen as he goes double digits easily in this game. They're looking for the kills, padding a few of the stats here with smiles on their faces as they will move on.
While Jensen's behavior had been reformed, his signature cockiness remained.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty cocky when it comes to the game, yeah.
And what is that based on then?
I think
knowing you're better, thinking you're better.
Yeah, I would say it's a mix of both.
Going into Worlds 2016, Jensen expressed his intention to defeat Faker in lane on Twitter, a now notorious comment, especially given the outcome.
If you want to prove yourself, you have to beat Faker, and that's like one opportunity I get, so that's what I want to do.
An opening here.
Yeah, Jensen kind of got poked down. He does have some, so Baker's going to get the stun. Planted, Becky flashes forward, and first blood goes to Elise.
The disrespect from Jensen. They need to poke down C9 before they fight here. Jensen finally flashes.
It's too late. He flashed the stun, but the ulti still killed him.
Playoffs, where they leave. Impact on an island.
Oh, good stun again. Faker looking for the all-in. Jensen does get the stun, but Wolf is here to complete it.
The changes here. The new Cena, he just opens up in their group.
Oh, Jensen again gonna get all in by Faker. That ultimate's easy clean up. Faker, another kill now.
The team ultimately went out in quarterfinals that year, and while Jensen didn't clap Faker, he has shown continued improvement over his time in the NA LCS. He was neck and neck with Bjergsen in the spring split, and statistically the best NA LCS mid laner in summer. Ultimately, Jensen showed us that redemption is possible, even for those who receive some of the harshest punishments that Riot Games has ever issued. Not only that, but his route to that success showed us that he may even have become a better player and teammate in the process.
Thanks for watching. If you want more great content, be sure to hit that subscribe button.